These politicians keep texting me.
Sure.
You guys are like big law firm. If I had $1 zillion and just wanted to hire you guys to put an end to political texts, how could we do it?
We couldn't. I mean, there are all kinds of state and other regulations about, no call lists and things like that. But we run into this thing called the First Amendment and freedom of speech, and and honestly, like the best way to take care of most things, is just delete it.
They won't stop. I delete it. I report it. I text stop. I do all those things, and they keep coming.
Well, and what's funny is, that's a funny example of it, right? Or just an annoying example of it. The more problematic example of it is something I've dealt with Elite and a bunch of clients, which is just fraudulent reviews online and things like that, right? When people go online on, whatever it is, Yahoo, Google, whatever, and leave bad reviews on a restaurant, a gym, a business, a law firm, anywhere, you can review anything online.
Yeah.
The individual's capability of getting even a blatantly false review taken down is almost zero.
Oh, wow. So we, Elite MMA, some competitor of ours gets on there and says these guys are terrible.
Even worse, some competitor tells all of their students, hey, I don't care if you've ever been to Elite or even know what it is, get online and leave thousands of bad reviews.
That happens, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And because of the First Amendment, right, and because of freedom of speech, and because of other statutes that we don't need to get into detail of that protect the platforms, right, whether it's Facebook, Yahoo, Google, whatever it may be, make it really, really hard to counteract those actions, right? And if they're coordinated and if they're predatory, they can be extremely devastating especially to small businesses. We've learned that the reverse is also true, right? Positive versions of that can also be extremely effective. You see people like the TikTok or the Instagram people who go and try new places that nobody's ever heard of, and then suddenly that place goes out of business not because they didn't have enough business, but because they couldn't keep up with the onslaught.
I hadn't heard of that. Wow.
And that started with TV, right? It started with, Anthony Bourdain going to small shops in small towns, or what's his name? The Flavortown guy, Guy Fieri, right? Going to small diners and advertising places that can't handle a 10x increase in their usage. So,
wouldn't that be what took you guys out? Oh, we had too much business and couldn't hang.
Well, and it's wild. I remember reading an article years ago on an in-flight magazine about a 50-year-old burger place in Portland, Oregon. They got one visit from one of those shows and they couldn't keep up with the growth. Wow. But to your, or back to my point, I guess your point was annoying texts, but back to my point, the negativity online and the statutory rubric and the First Amendment, right, should encourage everybody to be a little bit more skeptical about what they see online, about places that they want to try or want to go, because anybody can go on Yelp and say this was terrible